We were already talking about the election a little bit.
Or we talk about
Erections.
Stanley Kubrick.
Kubrick, yeah, we could talk about him, her,
they,
whatever.
That's our expose. Stanley Kubrick was actually trans.
Yeah.
That's the conspiracy no one ever talks about. Stanley Kubrick was the beginning of the woke agenda.
Yeah, he looked like he looked like how they look.
Well, that's like my biggest. That was I was texting you, or no, I was talking to you at the creek about that. That was like my biggest argument for heart attack. I was like, yeah, I could consider the Illuminati killing Stanley Kubrick until I look up a picture of Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, honestly, he always looked like a
pile of shit.
Fat old man. He always looked. It was like you know, like Steve Martin has always looked like an old guy.
Yeah, Steve Martin's always looked like a fun uncle.
But yeah, always.
Yeah,
like, always like forever 47. Like that's his story.
Yeah,
not 21. It's 47.
Yeah,
but like with Kubrick, it's just like.
Welcome to No More Heroes. I'm one of your hosts, Andy Malfrey, and with me, as always, the great Pat George. Today, we are talking about the age-old, not as commonly known or talked about conspiracy theory that Stanley Kubrick did not die in his sleep. He was killed by the Illuminati.
Yeah, he died in the deep state.
Yeah,
is what that of
what
of sleep.
No, the deep state killed him.
But that's where he died too.
Yeah,
is that a literal place?
What?
The deep state is a thing, not a place.
Deep state's a group of people. It's not a technical place. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think. Like, there's areas that it's a state of mind. Deep state's like,
keep the deep state weird.
The deep
man. It's just a fucking.
That can't be so good, dude. Keep the deep state weird.
Let's fucking go, guys.
Yeah, I mean that's what they're probably happy Trump's back in office because they're like, it's about to get weird again.
Let's go, guys.
Woo! I can't wait to imprison another grandma.
Enough euthanizing squirrels. Let's get back to reality.
That was the only doxing I got behind.
Yeah.
I'm usually anti-doxing, but then I was like, wait, we found this squirrel snitch's apartment.
Yeah, let's fucking get him.
But anyway, let's, so we got a lot of thoughts. We've been researching a bunch about Stanley Kubrick and Eyes Wide Shut and the deep state and the moon landing and whatnot.
I watched parts of Eyes Wide Shut a couple times.
I Eyes Wide Shut review, because I do have some opinions about Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah. How do you want to do it? Do you want to do because
let's go through the timeline. Because it's not an overly complicated timeline, and we can point out bits and pieces. Oh, another sneak preview. We will be shitting on Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, I did not love that movie.
Not for his movies, for who he was as a man.
Oh, okay. I'm excited to hear that. Yeah.
I think we should start off with the timeline. We could fucking poke fun at Stanley Kubrick.
Count it.
We can.
1, 2, 3.
That was amazing. Yeah. Did that get on camera?
I think so. That's why.
Dude, they're literally pinned. All right, now, okay, you won. You don't get to celebrate like that.
You got the clip. All right, now get out of here.
So yeah, let's start off with the timeline. Then we can kind of like poke fun at Stanley Kubrick. Then we can do our because I do want to discuss the movie, the actual movie itself.
Because I was trying for the longest time. It was the hardest.
Sorry.
Because I was trying to find. Because when you told me about this, I think was the first time I heard about it.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I only knew about the conspiracy. I've heard rumblings about Stanley Kubrick faking the moon land. Not rumblings. It's pretty well talked about. But the Eyes Wide Shut version of this, I also just stumbled upon it like months ago.
Yeah, I had no idea. When you started to say, when you were suggesting Stanley Kubrick, I thought you were going to say moon landing.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, yeah, we can do that. But
no, let's just watch The Shining.
Was possibly murdered by a secret society.
The Illuminati.
The Illuminati.
The Illuminati. They were acting pretty Illuminati by taking out the Kubes.
Yeah. Okay, so
let's start at square one.
Yeah.
Basically, where it starts is the government.
Stanley Kubrick is born.
Stanley. Okay, so his mom and dad. Get this? Are you sitting?
What?
His mom and dad had sex. Love that part.
Honestly, that was my favorite part of the story.
So it basically starts with the government, NASA, all those fun people. You know, all the Nazis and them are just vibing out, and they're like, "Gag nabbit, we got to get ourselves to the moon before Russia does it."
Yeah.
And they're fucking tinkering away, and they're like, "We just can't figure it the heck out. I think we're gonna have to fake it." Who put out a space movie that looks fucking hyper realistic?
Yeah.
And then they go, ring, 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 ring. Hey, Stanley.
Yeah.
Could you fake the moon landing for us?
Righto, can do.
Right. Was he? Yeah. Was he British?
Pretty sure.
Oh, see, his face. Every time I saw his face, it looked like he was just like, yeah, I could do that.
At the time, he was doing Clockwork Orange, so he was feeling real British.
Oh, okay.
I think it might be a Madonna thing. You'll never.
He's like,
know.
do you need rape? I'm doing Clockwork Orange. I'm in a real rape mood right now.
Yeah. Rape on the moon?
Yeah.
No. just the moon.
You want to fake a rape moon landing?
Okay.
What?
Yeah, I don't.
You want to land the rover on a rape? What?
He goes, now I've heard of everything.
She's like, all right, but you guys also have to write the whole script, and then I'll make it into my own thing.
Yeah. I think that was his thing, was like he was writing a script. The faking of the moon landing.
So basically, they got Stanley Kubrick. That's in the theories. They get Stanley Kubrick to fake the moon landing. And I gotta be honest, I was telling you about this. I've been trying to watch. Like I watched Eyes Wide Shut, but I've also been trying to watch other Stanley Kubrick movies.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, we are probably gonna be. I was watching stuff on his methods, and I am gonna be critical of that. But at the end of the day, the fucker knew how to make a goddamn movie. And everyone agrees with that, more or less. The dude knew how to make a fucking movie. And I was like laughing, like, dude, if you watch 2001 A Space Odyssey, you'd be like, oh, I'd be like, oh yeah, I get why people think, or why you would think like, oh, let's go to that guy. Because it looks amazing.
Yeah.
I watched the first hour of 2001 in my research and shit. And literally, like, dude, all the little fucking effects. And you got to remember, this was 68. It looks better than, this is a corny thing people say about movies now, or like a cliched thing people say about movies now, but it's true. Like, shit like that looks better than some shit looks now.
Right.
It looked fucking crazy. Just as something as simple as, there's a scene in the front where the dude's on a ship to the space station and he's like passed out and he clearly like dropped a pen and this pen's flipping through the air. I just realized you got rid of your fucking...
My locks?
You just got rid of your fucking white trash hair. What the fuck's it called?
Mullet.
When did that happen?
A couple of days ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know if I want to do the podcast anymore.
Oh, I quit.
You quit?
Oh, yeah.
You quit mullets?
Yeah. I quit podcasting, mullets. I don't even do jujitsu. You can't do jujitsu unless you have a mullet.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sorry. I didn't mean to completely derail.
I'm cutting all my audio and video off.
Okay. Tell me you have your pubes still. All right, guys. This podcast is going to be whatever it's going to be. I just lost all my energy. Anyway.
I can get American.
Please, at least get a fucking...
I'm proud to be American.
Anyway, sorry. I was so thrown off. Like, you really don't have your fucking mullet.
You ain't got no ponytail.
Where the fuck's your hair in the back?
Are you even a real pony? You ain't even a pony, man.
Pat, I'm starting to think you're not a pony.
You can call me Tony Pony.
Oh, but yeah, no, like literally I'm watching scenes in 2001 A Space Odyssey where the pen's floating in the air, and I was like, this looks fucking insane. So it was like, if the government asked Kubrick to be like, hey, can you fake this? You can't blame him.
Yeah.
He's the best guy to ask.
They're like, how'd you get all that film back from space?
And he's like,
And
huh?
he's like, what?
What?
Guys, and they go, it was fake? There's just some fucking retard in NASA or in the government that's just like, guys, it was fake.
They're like, he's talking on the phone. He's like,
soundstage.
Stan, no, you have to understand. We can't even get these fucking Nazis to do that.
Yeah, the Nazis, I mean...
all the Nazis we brought over, we can't even get them to figure it
brought
out.
Them back from Argentina.
How did your fucking mongoloid-looking ass figure that out?
How'd you get your Nazis to do that?
Okay, okay, Stan, we're not going to be mad, but just let us know, what kind of Nazis do you have?
Are movie Nazis different from government Nazis, or what's going on here?
Is there does Hollywood? Because honestly, no. Just to be fair, I feel like Hollywood wouldn't want that many Nazis in there. You know what I mean? You don't make me say it, Stan.
But mixed company.
Mixed company, exactly. Ooh, someone's coming to dinner. It's going to be a little awkward. But if we're being honest, I go, do you have different movie Nazis than we do have space Nazis?
Yeah, we need some NASA Nazis. we need some NASA Nazis that are going to get our shit together, and we need some pens floating, and we need it to show in every goddamn because every television in the world at that time was dog shit, right?
Yeah.
So you make it look like pretty good. Like they even said, like, can you rough the film up a little? Let's make some shit. And I bet the thing that really bothered him was he absolutely. So we explained that we were talking.
Well, yeah, we'll get to it, and I really want you to bring this up because you had a different sort of you had a different twist to the conspiracy theory that I haven't heard a lot of people go to. Where I go, I don't know. I personally don't know if they faked the moon landing, but there's insane incentive to fake the moon landing. But that also doesn't mean we've never been to the moon. It just might mean they faked it so we could look better than Russia or the Soviet Union back then. And I was talking to you about that.
Yeah.
And your theory went into that, and I thought it was really fucking interesting.
I think it's basically where I don't see why we wouldn't have been able to go to the moon and back. Like I have no different feeling about that. Like I don't know about like when they say like, oh, they brought back moon rocks and they did all that, like the moon rocks they brought back and gave to other countries was actually like petrified wood or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, because fuck other countries. We're not going to give you our fucking oh, we went up there and got all this stuff. Here, you can examine it for free. Fuck you guys.
Yeah, we're not going to
make it up there.
Oh, we're not going to let you also get credit for the project we figured out.
When they're like, isn't it crazy that the government lied to other countries? No.
It'd be crazy if they didn't.
Right. Yeah. Oh, here's all that
what
evidence
they do.
For free. You know what I mean? Here, Hungary, you get to have all the scientific experiments and advancements that we have, but for free.
It's one of the underlying themes of this podcast. The government is lying to you.
Absolutely.
Ding, ding, ding.
You win. We lose. So I think what it comes down to is, like,
what do you win? A never-ending psyop.
We go. It's just better. The pen, but we get the pen too. You know what I mean? Like we get, IMAX movies.
Yeah. I watched porn on my phone last night.
Right.
Yeah. Magic. Thank you, aliens.
Thank you for all of the magic that you have given us.
Thank you, aliens. I busted a nut on my comfy couch.
But I still think that there's the likelihood that we absolutely landed on the moon.
Yeah.
But like all of the other stuff is unavoidable, like the film making it back and forth. My personal thought was,
what was that one again? It was impossible to go through the Van Allen belt.
Van Allen radiation belt. Yeah. So it would zap it.
It'd be way better if there was a Van Halen radiation belt,
brother. Not Van Hagar either. Oh, sorry.
What the fuck was that?
Sorry.
Dude?
Old habits die hard.
Florida.
But you can cut the hair. You can't change the boy.
Cut the hair. Can't cut out the gay stuff.
Woo. But I think it's basically, it makes sense to me that like we absolutely.
The best part is people will actually learn something from this.
Yeah. Yeah. There's actual like this theory. I'll just try to finish the theory because we need more gay quips.
We're getting so sidetracked.
But the fact that like we made it to the moon, but we also faked the landing because we wanted to be able to, like, the radio communications might have been that.
Yeah.
But like we were saying, it's how can you have the computing power is better on your phone than it was on the ship that went there, and out of nowhere you have you can have just live footage from the moon.
And the fucking spaceships back in the day just felt like a short bus with the rockets on them.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't. Like I do not deny whatsoever that fucking three fucking crazy, basically space cowboys, like the movie with Clint Eastwood, got strapped to a fucking rocket and shot their asses up into space. They fucking landed a lunar thing, all this other shit, but it just didn't look like. I don't think those visuals that we got.
Well, we were joking about it. We were joking about it at the creek. It's like The two things that really stick out to me is they were like, oh yeah, you know all that test footage for the first ever moon launch, space launch and shit like that? We taped over that. That's our bad. You go, you did?
Yeah.
All right, that seems insane, but okay. Yeah. And then the other part, the one that always got me was like the quickness in fucking when was it? 1968, 1969?
Yeah.
In 1969, the quickness they're talking to Neil Armstrong on the moon, when to this day, if a local news station is going to a reporter in the field, because if there's a storm, there has to be someone outside to let you know it's raining.
Yeah.
So if the local news is talking to someone like that, they go like, all right, how are things out there, Stacy? It's not looking too great. And you're like, that still happens, but it was moment to moment in fucking 1969.
Like, hey, just landed on the moon there. Cool. Thanks for telling us. By the way, the whole world's watching you right now. Cool. Anyway, this is one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Yeah, just bam, 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 back and forth.
Where you're like, I can't even get signal in my house. And this is so I'm not saying that I'm not saying that the government's not lying to you. I just think the lies that we think they're telling us are not what you're like.
It's like a twofold thing. It's like
the footage is faked, but like why not? Why couldn't we?
It was there's a high chance they faked the moon landing. There's a high chance they faked the moon landing, but that doesn't necessarily mean we never went to the moon.
Right. So I think
I will say this to the we never went to the moon people. The fact that we never really went back is fucking weird.
Yeah. Well, it's also like there's.
I love how she doesn't know the door's open.
Yeah. There's also like the fact that like people that like what may have been discovered when we went to the moon.
Oh yeah.
Kind of goes with my Area 51 theory of like, oh shit, oh there's aliens up here.
Yeah.
But that's part.
Oh
of
yeah, we were joking about that on the Roswell episode. Like we get to the moon and there's just like moon hillbillies being like, best be going the way you came.
So sorry, sir.
Earthlings.
Yeah. This moon ain't hollow. In fact, you ain't never been to this moon, okay?
Yeah. Oh, hollow moon? What moon? Go on, get off this moon. This ain't your moon, it's our moon.
She's the worst animal.
Cats
in the world.
do hate a closed fucking door.
Yeah.
Diesel spazzes when there's a closed door. So yeah, this isn't going to be a heavy moon episode, but we did have to do a refresher. And I will say shout out to the Y-Files. I used his video as a refresher. Bro, funniest part about that video is one of the bits of proof that Stanley Kubrick faked the moon landing is people go like, well, there's this interview that Stanley Kubrick did right before he died where he's basically confessing it. And then you're like, and a bunch of people just hold on to that like it's real. And then you take 2 seconds to look it up and you go, yeah, there's raw footage of people faking that.
Yeah, but also that's not
Stanley Kubrick.
That is not Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, you're right. That's the bigger deal. That's not Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah.
And then you watch it, and when they show him fully lit, you're like, it's obviously not Stanley Kubrick. But in the video, it's like kind of dark and spooky and stuff like that.
It kind of looks like what's the guy from Mandy Patinkin. You know what I mean? Like it looks like a well-known actor, the guy who plays Montoya from Princess Bride.
Oh, okay.
Like it's like it looks like an old version of that guy. He's like, he's on Criminal Minds. I didn't know Stanley Kubrick was on Criminal Minds. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
But
Dip
like,
in quality.
This is just to say motive. So then I think after this, people are going like, oh, he definitely helped them fake the moon landing, and he's given us clues in his movies.
Oh.
He does it with The Shining. A lot of it, they're like, the kid's wearing an Apollo 11 shirt. That's proof. They go,
like, oh, yeah?
Room 237. The Earth is 237,000 miles from Earth.
Yeah. Oh, and
that's also not true.
Yeah, that's not true. Stanley Kubrick also made a space movie. He might just like space.
He likes space.
The funniest one, too, was like the hexagons. They're exactly like the launch pad of Cape Canaveral. And you go, I mean, that's just a carpeting in one of the rooms.
That's just shitty fucking design. Have you seen,
Dude, I gotta be honest. Like, I still love conspiracies, and I definitely want to get into more. I know you were talking about possibly doing energy weapons next weekend. I'm really excited to get into shit like that. Whatever we end up doing, but I gotta be honest. Like, I've gotten into conspiracies on my level where I look at the information and figure it out. I've honestly been taking for granted how many people in the conspiracy space truly are like just getting ready to jump to a conclusion. And I go, dude, you need some sort of info to like I mean, we'll get to it when we finish out the actual timeline of this, but like just seeing the type of conclusions people jump to a lot of these conspiracies with not enough fucking info is bewildering. I think I underestimated how fucking prevalent that is with this shit.
Part of the thing that like people say like, well, he's meticulous and he leaves a bunch of clues in his movies for all these things. He's very meticulous about the details. I think that's continuity wise. It's not necessarily. I don't think he's somebody that's like, hey, put a Native American mural over there to symbolize colonism.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh no, it's the 70s. Let's have shitty design and Native American fucking. Hey, you know this was built on a Native American building, brother.
Also,
that's the theme of the fucking thing, stupid.
Also,
there's no hidden shit.
You're still talking about The Shining, right?
Yeah.
You also got to think about it. Like, if you know the story of The Shining, he is in a giant ski resort hotel from the fucking 80s or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, just think about it from a movie standpoint. How many of those are you going to be able to shoot a movie in? Not a lot.
Yeah.
So, like, there might just be Indian pictures in the one they got.
Yeah. Well, it's just it's a thing where
I mean, I guess he could have put the pictures up himself.
And there may be but I wasn't most convinced of this until this conspiracy with the Eyes Wide Shut, because people do that with all of his movies.
Yeah.
They add this thing, but so this is saying, I just think that to help this conspiracy of him being killed by a deep state, it would have to start with the moon landing thing.
Well, the moon landing thing has to be...
That has to be his introduction to...
And I think, from what I gather, I think both of us are we're in the space of, I mean, I don't know, but I could see it.
But this actually, I think this helps this conspiracy because...
The moon landing?
Well, the moon landing one helps him being killed by them because he would be working with them.
If they're gonna fake the moon landing, he's the guy they're calling.
And so like that's exactly. So if they have that,
there'd be no one else they would call.
Right. And I don't think at any point is he giving hints to this, or is he conflicted about it. I think he just did a job. I think the only thing that may provoke him possibly leaking or talking about it
to reveal
is because he gets shit for it, where they're like, look, this isn't even fucking possible. How come there's no this? And how come and like they're like nitpicking it instead of what he's used to is in every one of his movies, people are sucking his dick and giving it so much more context. And they're just like, he's a genius. Look. See, in this scene, there's two people walking behind them. And in this scene, there's one person.
And you're saying...
And you're like... And he's used to them going like...
And you're saying in the moon landing footage, he's getting
everybody's heckling him.
Everyone's being like,
look, shit.
Look how obviously fucking bad this is.
And he's like, it's like the whole time he's just like...
That would be his... Yeah, dude, that would be his motivation to come out about it. He'd been like, I did so good at it, you piece of shit.
No, it's the fucking pen. Have you seen 2001?
Look at the goddamn pen. Look at the space station. It's clearly a small model, but it feels big when you watch it, right?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, so like, I feel like I'm giving motive to this conspiracy. So like, if anything, I had never heard this conspiracy necessarily.
Sure.
But I was also like,
so let's finish out the timeline, and then we can dance around this more. This is a very fun one to talk about. This was an annoying one to research. I got to be honest.
It was so fucking hard.
It was not fun. It wasn't that fun to research. Talking about it is fun.
Well, that's what I was saying. Is all the other conspiracies or all the Easter eggs and clues and stuff. I was, like, every video I tried to find on YouTube was like just this fucking dork going like that shit. Look at this scene. This is where Alice says,
that she's emasculating him.
It kind of irritated me.
Symbolizes this, and look at the mask and like the circle as symbolizes. It's like
it kind of irritated me because I was like, I really thought you guys would have more. Like this kind of sucks ass.
This is very flimsy. That's why I'm helping you, motherfuckers.
Yeah. So honestly, we probably are gonna have the most direct.
This is a better story.
Dude, we're gonna have the most concrete, direct timeline and discussion on this that there is on the internet. To be perfectly honest,
dude. Hey, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Be the change you want to see in the world.
Exactly.
Hey.
This is why I like doing these because I realized
honestly that means
when
you should leave.
I realized what?
I just want to do this by myself.
Oh, okay.
I want to be at full transparency. I hate you.
Okay.
And I want you to be killed by the deep state too.
You've been trying to get that off your chest.
So good to say. I thought you were going to get up and walk away.
Andy, I'm going to be perfectly honest. For the past 9 years, I've just been wanting you to get killed by the deep state.
Plotting, figuring out a way, and if this provokes them to come kill us, by the way, I'm very scared of heights. I don't want to die.
No, you're getting wormwood then.
Yeah.
That's what happened to that guy. He got fucking booted out of a window.
Damn it.
You're going to get wormwood.
I hope it's higher than a fourth story.
Nah, that shit was like, yeah, you're going to get wormwooded. No, but honestly, too, that's why I love the Vegas shooting episode I did with Austin, because I realized, this is one of the best, most concise breakdowns on the internet of this topic.
Yeah.
Anyway, so basically, Stanley Kubrick, the theory is he faked the moon landing, and he was like, all right, so then you do this for us, we're going to fund all your movies and shit like that, and then there's and I don't know where anyone gets this. I think it's just, this is probably what happened to make everything else make sense. But they say there was a deal where Kubrick was like, I'm going to have one movie where I get all creative control over it. You're not allowed to tell me anything about the movie or anything like that. So that brings us to Eyes Wide Shut.
Okay.
And if you guys aren't familiar with Eyes Wide Shut, it's a movie about Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, which I was texting Pat a bunch about this. Shout out to the Coobs, rest in peace. Big fan of showing me Nicole Kidman's boobs.
Good Lord, I didn't know I needed that.
What? Oh my God. Dude, within 20 minutes, I've seen 3 different scenes with Nicole Kidman's boobs.
Sexy boobs.
Great little boobs.
Nice little boobs. All right, little butt. All right,
titties.
little butt.
Titties.
Yeah.
Nicole Kidman has titties.
Yeah.
They are. Oh.
And I got to tell you, if we're talking about Eyes Wide Shut.
Eyes Wide Shut.
Okay. That is I was not getting Illuminati from it for most of it.
Well, so where the Illuminati thing comes into play is Eyes Wide Shut. If you haven't seen it, you saw it. This also, is for these people.
I also want to point out. I want to be like one of these film nerds and point out something that none of them fucking pointed out.
We'll review the movie. Don't worry.
Is the fact that this movie, out of all the other Kubrick movies are big.
Yeah.
Big movies, right?
Yeah.
Always big.
Wait, what are they?
They're big. Boom. Big boom.
Big movie.
I should have done it too, but I was gonna punch my mic. But like Shining.
Wait, what's the name of the hotel in The Shining? The Overlook Hotel.
Overlook Hotel.
Jack killed his family at the Overlook
Hotel.
Boom. Tom Cruise goes to an Illuminati sex party. Boom.
Red rum. No, so like The Shining happens like over like months, right?
Yeah.
Full Metal Jacket, like basic training, fucking going there like after like all these other movies. Space Odyssey is like through history. Like that's his biggest movie, right? I just wanted to do it again for you.
Yeah.
All these other things,
Dawn
right?
of Man.
Eyes Wide Shut is like a 24-hour period.
Yeah, it's like a day or two.
Which is like, so that already is weird.
Yeah.
Right? So again, I'm feeding into you nerds. And
it's
welcome.
Very different than the average Kubrick movie.
Nobody pointed that out before.
Yeah.
And also, how much not creative control did he have in like The Shining and all that other shit? If Stephen King hated that movie so much,
yeah.
Like if the author is going like, nah, and he's going like, you know what I mean? To Stephen King, even at that point.
I will say this. I actually have been reading The Shining. I've got 100 pages left. It's a good book, but boy, howdy, Stephen King could get rid of like 60% of it, and
Yeah.
it would not affect the book.
So I'm thinking like, okay, he's got full creative control, and this is most likely his like, all right, well,
I'm letting you guys know.
here we go.
Yeah.
Like, here's all the answers, because he knows, like, if he's so detail oriented,
So,
he's reading the comments.
Let me add this to the whole thing. So if you guys don't know the movie, it's about Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman. They're a couple, and it's sort of exploring like sex
Cuckoldry.
sex within a marriage.
Swingers.
So it starts off, they're at a party. Nicole Kidman's dancing with a guy, getting way too close, but also Tom Cruise is talking to two little ladies.
I think he's a scout, by the way.
Is he a scout?
Pretty sure he's a scout for the parties.
Interesting ripple.
I think you can tell that she wanted to be plugged.
Maybe.
Airtight.
They go back to their place later that night. Nicole Kidman smokes a joint, and just for no reason is just like,
that's a couple days later.
oh, when they're
Yeah.
smoking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because that night they go home and fuck, because she's like revved up.
She's horned up from the other
Yeah.
dude she was dancing with.
Yeah.
So she's smoking a joint. And for no reason, for no reason at all,
She's like,
she turns to Tom Cruise and goes, 11 months ago, I considered cheating on you.
No. You know how she brings it up? She goes, "Do you remember at dinner that sergeant,
That
was at the
Marine or
thing?"
whatever?
And he's like, "No."
No?
And
She's like,
and
well,
she's
here's
like,
the thing. I think
"Well,
about him constantly.
Let me tell you how much I've thought about his cock since then."
Just tells him for no reason.
And then this fella goes on the biggest adventure
And he
in the
goes-
world after his wife tells him she wants to be railed and wants to abandon her daughter.
yeah, and then I forgot about that
It's
part.
like, I didn't want to. I was like, you know what? I was ready to fucking take his dick and,
so-
be like, fuck you, fuck whatever our fucking
Whatever,
daughter's name is.
who gives a shit what our
I don't
stupid
fucking
kid's
care
name
that
is? I don't
stupid
fucking
kid's-
care. I need to go get fucked by a Marine.
Oh, Tom Cruise, more like Tom Snooze. I'm out. Boo for your dick.
So Tom Cruise, yeah, it's a doom. Honestly, that's a doom.
You got a doom dick, bro.
Leaving your husband and child, that's a
Doom.
doom.
Especially with those titties.
So Tom Cruise is trying to process that. He gets a call, and then he goes over to
go work.
to go declare a guy dead.
To go, hey, let me go get some more food and shelter for you and our daughter.
Let me go make money.
Gotta go work now, sweetie.
Let me go make money for this overpriced apartment in the middle of Manhattan we're in. But anyway, you considered cheating on me a month ago for no reason?
Oh, come on. You don't ever think about fucking your patient?
So interesting.
No, because I took a whole oath and you know, the roof over our heads and everything. If I were to try to finger one of our patients, I might just die. Very inappropriate conversation to have. Inebriated,
but she's
the
funny.
The timing was terrible.
I forget if it was during or later, but like I remember one of her justifications. She was also like, "But like, let's be real. When you're checking chicks for cancer and you're grabbing their boobs, you're probably getting hard, right?"
And he's just like,
"What?
no.
What? What?"
But then I'm going like, I honestly, you know what's really scary and why like I can't appreciate the realness of a lot of this movie.
Yeah.
Is like I started like having the argument for him. I was like, is that what you think about when you get your tits grabbed at the doctor?
I mean, that's a fair rebuttal, though.
I'd be like, what? Wait a minute. Like, is that something I'm supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
Or I don't understand.
Should I be getting horned up over these ladies who might have cancer?
But like this conversation also was like her going like, I just want to just fucking get like
railed
by this dude, and I was gonna get. So it's a very mean, very cuckold, like type of kind of. So that's why I'm like, this seems like a fucking swinger movie. This seems like a weird sex club movie.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be that, but it was a weird,
like a long time.
Well, it wasn't interesting because I've talked about this a lot on like streams and podcasts and stuff where women do, where they're conscious of it or not. They do little things like that where they try to test you to see if you're a bitch.
Yeah.
That is quite possibly the most extreme example of it.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like, honestly, the only way out of that is to be like, bye-bye.
Yeah.
You fucking weird bitch. So Tom Cruise responds to that by going out to do, like you said, do his job.
To go work.
And on the way home from that, just...
Oh, no, but
well, the lady kisses him, but I think to the broader conversation, that's like more of just a side thing to it.
I think it's just, honestly, I felt like even watching that like live and knowing kind of seeing where this movie was going, it felt unrelated to everything. It just kind of felt like this lady having an emotional reaction to her life
Well, it was.
changing.
I think Stanley Kubrick was trying to hit the different stages of potentially cheating on someone, where someone comes on to you, and then you try to come on to someone else,
Then the hooker,
and then you go to Illuminati sex party. The 3 things you might do to cheat on your wife.
The 3 stages. Because your old college buddy was like, I'm playing piano now. My family's in Seattle.
Oh yeah, because also too. He was also talking about how like the guy. Okay, wait. Let's try to go through the story. Tom Cruise, the chick kisses him. He's leaving the dead guy's place. He sees a random, incredibly attractive hooker who. That hooker does not cost $150.
No,
that was crazy.
Well, you find out at the end why she was $150.
Oh yeah.
She might have been like, hey, I'm waiting for some tests, so I'm gonna what do you say, 150?
Yeah.
And he's like, really?
Yeah. So on the way home,
I think that's what it was. He went up to the room and he was like, 150, and he's like,
that's too low.
I gotta go.
Yeah, it's like,
but you can have the money. I'm gone.
It's like when you get some food that's like, that's too expensive. How are you making a profit? Or that's too cheap. How are you making a profit?
Yeah, and you're like, this isn't food, is it?
Yeah. So
on the
way home, on the way back to his house.
Yeah.
Takes a beeline into a random hooker's apartment.
Oh yeah.
Contemplates fucking her, decides not to, then goes, ends up making his way to a jazz bar where his buddy, who you find out earlier in the movie was playing piano, he's friends with him.
Yeah.
Ends up at the jazz bar talking to his buddy, and the buddy's like, oh, I'm sorry, I gotta go to play a private party. He's like, where's that at? He's like, oh, I can't tell you. They blindfold me when I'm at those. Yeah. Because he also jokes about, like, oh, sometimes I see through the blindfold. And you're like, okay, so you know what happens.
And only mentions hot chicks.
Yeah. Only mentions hot chicks. Spoiler alert, never mentions the guys in cows and the
capes.
Cloaks. I think it's called a cow or something, the proper term. Cow, yeah. But yeah, never mentions the guys in weird fucking masks and cloaks and shit like that.
Yeah.
Just mentions the fact that there's a couple hot chicks. Yeah. So it's like, if I'm playing piano at those parties, I'm not telling a soul about that shit.
You know what I was thinking? I was just thinking it was funny. They were going to say, welcome to the sex club where you can have any pick of any woman with the exact same body type.
Yeah.
You want the exact same woman, but sometimes with blonde hair?
Yeah.
Like literally, it was it. Like it was the same lady over and over.
The exact same lady.
It was crazy. Like,
you know what's funny? I was like, I loved this movie, and the more we're talking about it, I'm like, this movie might suck.
Dude, oh really? I thought it.
No, I'm literally. Sucked. I watched it, and I just like. I'm really good at like shutting my brain off and letting the movie take me on the ride it wants to take me on.
Yeah.
And so, sort of more minor problems with it don't stick out as much to me in that first viewing of it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until the monologue at the end that I was like, oh, I think that was a really bad dismount. But I was like, I like the movie a lot, and now that I'm explaining it, all of this is so fucking ridiculous. Like this is just over the top. Just the fact that Tom Cruise managed to get to the party in general is fucking insane.
Yeah, like the fact that he went there, showed up in a taxi, they let him in, let him see all the stuff. Like I thought like it was basically like if you knew about it, you could be there, but I didn't realize it was supposed to be the elite.
And so that's the element that brings us back to...
Because the fucking dickhead piano guy. Like, that's why Tom Cruise felt like he could go to it, and he did.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, if he didn't stop, he could have just fucked it.
Well, it was funny, too. That they were all talking to Tom Cruise afterwards, like, you really fucked up. And it's like, hey, you guys, Illuminati, you're not being fair. Because you got to understand... Tom Cruise thought he was gonna go to a room with a couple chicks you could fuck. He's like, if Tom, you gotta know, Tom Cruise, if he knew exactly what it was, he'd like, yeah, I wouldn't have gone to that for a second.
And that's
they were being unfair.
I guess that's the story of it, is like the fact that it's just somebody. So it seemed like just a horny ass movie that Stanley Kubrick was making.
Yeah.
Like,
wait, did we clarify the actual? Yeah, we said the capes, the mask, and
how
it factors into the conspiracy too is so.
I think the first conspiracy, before he even gets to the party, is that weird costume shop. I don't understand the person that used to live here, the person that whatever. It was already being secretive. The guy at the little
costume
girl.
shop shit didn't really have a great explanation to it
Until I think later on.
Later in the movie.
And that's why I was saying, like, then I also start believing the Illuminati stuff, the secret society stuff, because of like Epstein shit and all of that.
And there was a heavy.
It was a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah, there was a heavy implication that the guy is like selling. Not even implication. They were straight up telling you.
Deal.
The guy was like, "You can fuck my daughter for money."
Right. And like said, like, hey, by the way, I'll call the cops on you if you're trying to do it for free.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna pay me, that's okay.
Yeah.
And so like that was like I saw in some of the conspiracy theories of that being an implication of like
child sex trafficking.
Of who's involved essentially.
Yeah.
I think that's the point of the mask and introducing these somewhat insignificant female roles.
Yeah.
Of like, because whenever he gets to the party and for some reason blows his fucking cover by being like, hey, I know nobody else is talking, but can we just have a full conversation while we're walking through these really quiet halls? And you hear none of, but you're seeing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
And
like,
it is funny to be like.
but it's completely silent, you know, like, and he's just like, hey.
Well, it's like when you get into that situation and one of the random hookers tells you to leave, and it's like it becomes very obvious that something big is happening and you should get out of there. And he's like, well, before I leave, give me a full breakdown explanation of this.
Just tell me exactly what's going on.
But
like, you're in over your head, and he's just like, okay, but like, why?
Exactly how?
But why?
Give me every single step how I'm in over my head.
He like fucking Karen'd his exit. He slicked his way in. And then he could have just been like, well, can I just get a blowjob or something? I mean, like, I fucking came all this way.
Yeah.
Let me just come, right? I like how they're like, hey, your taxi driver's here. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. I'm just going to talk to him. I'll be right back.
Just going to scoot?
And he comes back and he goes, where's my taxi driver?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
But either way, I think the reason they're introducing all these female leads and stuff is to just say at the end of the movie, who the fuck was the broad that was trying to... Because I thought it was the hooker.
Yeah.
And then at the end, I think they were trying to imply that it was the other lady who was possibly also a hooker
from earlier
that he was introduced to at that party because of her overdose or whatever.
Yeah, I can't remember.
He's like he acts like he's like some humdrum doctor, but then when this guy's like, hey, this fucking naked broad OD'd from a speedball in my office, can you come take a look at it or something? And he comes up there and he's like, what's your name?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Yeah.
What's your name?
They really wanted like a whole fucking thing, then his diagnosis was like, wait an hour.
Just look at her for an hour.
Yeah. Here, let me hit this real quick about the actual like the conspiracy element and the actual party. So where the conspiracy people come in on this is, we were talking about Tom Cruise is going through all his different sexual experiences through a piano player. He manages to get into an Illuminati party, and he gets his cape and his mask, and he gets a taxi driver to bring him out there. Oh, which, you know what? Real quick, going back to analyzing the movie, just rips the dollar bill. Like, that's the
not... the $100 bill.
I mean, and also, too, that guy can't use a ripped 100.
Yeah.
That would... If I'm a taxi driver and you bring me to the middle of the woods and you're like, you'll get the rest of this 100 I just ripped, I would look at that and I go, look at the giant estate. Yeah. There's two butlers just standing outside a gate in the middle of the woods. I go, yeah, I hope that guy doesn't die, but I'm getting out of here. Like, that's what I would fucking do.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'll just take the money. Can I just have the money for the fare?
Yeah.
Like, keep it running. Like, can I just leave?
Nah, that 100 rip is super sauce. Yeah. So he gets into the party. He's got his fucking cape and mask, and he sees these dudes with like weird. So he walks.
All the masks are like this.
Yeah, all the masks are like really unnerving.
I like this one. Imagine being fucked in the way. It's like.
Yeah. The masks are really unnerving. They're doing some sort of ceremony. They've got there's two people and I want to say purple pointy hoods and stuff. One guy in a red pointy hood. And so this is where the conspiracy comes in. That is apparently a part of some sort of secret society Illuminati ritual. And Stanley Kubrick apparently had 20 minutes where they showed the entire ritual. That was a sticking point with the studio. They're like, you're going to expose our whole fucking thing. You can't keep this in.
There's a missing 23 minutes or 24 minutes
20, 25, somewhere around there. They're like, you can't keep this in. It's going to expose our whole thing. So then, oh, shit, right after the first screening, Stanley Kubrick gets murked and shit like that. So
Yeah.
that's where the conspiracy element comes into play. I gotta be perfectly honest, from
24 missing.
like from what I know about secret societies and the rituals and stuff like that, and mix that in with my limited knowledge on what kind of content will get a movie released by a major studio. I think if Stanley Kubrick put in these rituals 100%, they would be like, yo, fuck exposing our thing.
Yeah.
This is going to be labeled as a snuff film, dude.
Yeah.
So,
I think realistically, they're like, no, we can't just. It's not that, like, because that's what I'm saying. It's like they're showing a lot of it, and they're
Yeah.
also still killing people.
well, because let me give it context.
Yeah.
Let me give you context too, because in a lot of these rituals, I've read stuff where it's like human sacrifice.
I thought it was-
there's stuff that involves piss and shit. Like it involves violence and all this other crazy shit that if you put in a fucking major motion picture,
Yeah.
they would categorize it as a fucking snuff film.
Right.
So and more. What would make more realistic sense to me is what Stanley Kubrick did. Is that he's like, I'm gonna give you a little taste of this shit,
Right.
I'm gonna put the thought in your head that you're like, oh yeah, there are these higher up elites that do fucking weird shit.
Also, the ending of it. The only thing I would like, it doesn't like.
Ending of the sex party.
No, the ending. Well, the ending of that is like him her going like, I give myself in tribute. So does that mean that she was going to be the sacrifice?
I guess, yeah. But then later they kind of say like, "Oh, that wasn't real." But then you're like not sure if it wasn't real or not.
Right.
I don't know. I'm sorry, but end of the movie.
Right. Well, is that, and that is like there's a lady that's dead in the paper. That's all.
Yeah.
It's like, and he's like, was she at the party?
But she was also a drug addict, so who the fuck knows?
And that's what I'm saying. Is like there's a lot of ambiguity at the end. Like
Yeah.
you can build a lot, but it is pretty hammered home that he's like, hey man. So there's a lot of stuff that you're kind of out of your element.
Yeah.
You're a cool dude, and I'm trying to warn you.
Yeah.
I'm your friend. Sure, I'm involved, but like,
I'm just letting you know.
what am I involved in? Do you know? Neither do I. Right? Hey, like
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
just trying to do that kind of
Just
thing.
letting you know.
And he's just like, well, did this lady die? And he's just like, look, man, what do you want me to say? I can't say she didn't die.
Yeah, I gotta be honest.
You know what I mean? And it's just like at the end of it, like it's not like I'm going like, well, I guess secret societies are probably okay.
Well, you're turning to. It's like a thing where you turn to Tom Cruise and you're like, "Are you not picking up on what's happening right now?"
Over and over again. Then he comes home. Okay, so and the only thing is, the mask being on the pillow, right?
Yeah, that's
Now-
the society like letting him know we're
Well,
watching you.
But it was also implied that she found the mask and like, I got you.
Put it there.
But the weird dream that she has when he comes back from the secret society. That's the thing that I'm like, what's that? What's that part? Where she's just like, so I'm airtight in this field, and the thing I want to do most is look at you and laugh at you. And I'm just like, does this bitch hate her husband?
So I think
What
the
is-
difference.
I don't understand what that weird, because then it's also like, and also I'm thinking like, look, I'm Tom Cruise. I love my family.
You Tom Cruise?
I'm Tom Cruise.
I thought so.
He's obviously a little bit interested in fucking other women.
Yeah.
He is very disturbed at the thought.
No,
of
he's
his-
not. He's not a little bit. He's trying to, and then he catches himself every time.
Oh, you know what? That's a good point. He's not into it, but his wife is
No,
super.
I just
into
said he is into it.
No,
Well, no,
he
honestly.
keeps trying, but he's not. He keeps turning away. He keeps stopping.
Well, no, but
I
like,
thought he was interested.
But no, if you look at it throughout the movie, every time he has a chance to fuck another woman, except for the hooker, or no, honestly,
every time.
every chance he has, every time he tries to fuck a girl, something happens that kind of makes him like not really want to
Like
fuck
his
her.
wife, it's
But
essentially,
he's really trying to, but like his vague sense of morality won't let him,
and it's basically,
and the Illuminati also won't let
and
him.
his wife kind of hates him.
Yeah,
Like his wife seems to not hate him, but like really be into cuck shit, and he's like, I don't like that.
yeah,
and,
I think
and like, but he has a chance to go like the secret society's like, stop fucking digging into it. And he's
Yeah.
like, okay, but what happened? And they're like, stop digging into it.
yeah.
And they keep warning him and like just sending weird, vague, suited dudes to stare at him. But like his wife goes like, I had the worst dream where I was just getting so much pleasure from everybody but you. And, like, I just saw you, and I hated your guts. And I guess that's when you came in. And he's just like, okay, look, the secret society wants to kill you. This is really just a story of why you should get a divorce. But if you want to also save yourself from dying, just go to your the secret society and be like, look, I want to make things right. I got a new bitch for your stable. Because guess what? She's into it.
Well, and
she
you know
wants
what's
to do
funny
it.
about that is, and I think this was intentional.
That's a win-win.
I think what this is intentional. If you look at Nicole Kidman, she had a very similar, slightly smaller boobs, very similar body type to all the. Yeah, I think there's a connection there.
And that recruiter was like, God damn, girl, you want to get fucked upstairs?
I think the difference, that dude probably was a recruiter now that you think about it. I think the difference too, though, is they're trying to have a split in between. Everything Nicole Kidman's doing is mental.
Yeah.
And then everything Tom Cruise is doing is physical. So I think that was like an intentional split.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, and the other factor too is, I forgot to mention this earlier. This is also an adaptation of a book from like the 20s.
Also, that's a really good point too, because once he comes home and he goes, I'll tell you everything, and then she goes, and then like he gets done telling her, and then she's just like she looks like fucking Shelley Duvall from The Shining.
Yeah.
And then like she's just like,
yeah.
I think he's like, all right, so like good news, bad news.
Yeah.
There's some people that want to kill me, but I think they're your kind of people. Because I know this place where the thing that you dreamt about could happen if you wanted to.
It's not just it's not just a bad dream.
It
can really happen.
Just saying that because it's just like, and then when she finds out like, hey, this is a possibility, and I know the address, she's like, I don't really want to do it. I don't want a bunch of dicks in me. I just want your little dick, please.
Oh, that is an interesting.
And like he's like, all right, well, I tried to do the physical thing and I couldn't. And you're connected to it mentally, but you can't do it physically.
That is an interesting split where it is just like if you keep everything mental, it'll be a big problem.
Mentally,
but if
he was
keep,
determined to do it.
If you keep everything mental, it'll be a big problem. But if you also try to experience it physically like Tom Cruise did, it will also be a big problem.
Right. And it's like, it just seemed like more of a cautionary tale. You know what I mean? Like,
because
it felt very autobiographical in this case. If you're talking about the,
well, I'm glad you said autobiographical because here, and I do want to round out getting back to the conspiracy. But like I said, we were inevitably going to have to review
we have
this.
to talk about the.
We are inevitably going to have to like review the movie and everything.
Yeah.
But like, so she has her little monologue at the end.
Yeah.
And what I got from that monologue was essentially like Nicole Kidman going, I did my thing, you did your thing, let's just keep it all in the past. And I go, no, you two need to get a divorce.
You need to get a divorce or get some fucking help. Like you need a healthier relationship.
I was like,
because
this is crazy way to be.
That's what I was saying. Like this story felt like a cuck's tale or like a cautionary swingers guide of like how to talk about it, because like she's obviously going like, because her thing when her last line, I think it's the last line in the movie when she's like, well, you know what we got to do? We got to go fuck.
And you're like, no.
It's like, no, that
you
is
both need heavy therapy,
madam. That is disassociating because you're mentally gonna go somewhere else where she's just gonna be like with her fingers going like, just trying to plug all her holes.
Why do you keep putting the candlestick down your throat?
And it's like, look, if this is a fantasy, I get it. And what's the line between fantasy and reality?
Yeah, no, you know what I think.
That's what I was getting, and also a little secret society.
You know what my guess on this movie is, and I'm being half funny about this. I think Kubrick was trying to get his wife to do weird sex shit.
Yeah,
and and she didn't want to do it.
She nagged him to death.
And this is his grumpy response to that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll make Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman do it. And also the arduous, like you were talking about his methods of doing a lot of the shit. He was very demanding of a lot of his actors, and like the fact that after this movie, he dies before its release.
This was an interesting thing you brought up. Yeah,
for a screening, but also right after that, like Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman get divorced, but also everybody's like, look at the weird interview that they're doing, and they're talking about like when they're asked about Stanley Kubrick, they just kind of claim up, because I think what the problem is he's very well known for being difficult to work with and very demanding of his actors, and he just fucking died from a heart attack before the release of his last movie.
You're not going to be honest
and you put 52 weeks or whatever the fuck it was.
No, it was 17 months. It was like
it's some crazy amount of time.
It was like 400 or 500 consecutive days shooting. It's like the longest shoot in movie history.
So not only is let's say that's the case, right? Just say subject matter wise, both Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise have to, for hours, she just has to fucking go, you little limp dick fucking piece of shit. And he's just like, and after a while it's gonna be hard to be like, hey man, this is really hurting, and that's my real wife, and I really fucking love her.
And then when Tom Cruise is in the fucking cab,
yeah,
and he's imagining her fucking the Marine or whoever the fuck it was.
That's still his real wife.
They actually shot his real wife doing that. And it's like, dude, it's one thing to be like, okay, like my husband or wife can kiss someone a couple times in a movie. Yeah. It's like, no, my wife is going to get naked.
Look me in the eyes and go, I wish that guy's dick was in me, and I hate you and our daughter.
And then my wife
have a daughter.
And then my wife's gonna get naked constantly in this movie and have some random dude rub up. Like, dude, literally, there was parts where, I think the thoughts he was having in the taxi, they shot those scenes, not telling Tom Cruise, and he wouldn't let Tom Cruise in there. And it's like, dude, you don't think his fucking retarded way of filming movies was a complete strain on this family?
I don't think so. I would think that that doesn't feed into the conspiracy of him being murdered. I think it's just Tom Cruise or Nicole Kidman being like, I'm kind of glad, because he was kind of a real piece of shit, and I think he really affected our relationship.
Yeah, and also too, a lot of times when I've heard this, when a couple has a kid who passes away, a lot of times they get a divorce after that. So in the same, obviously this isn't as traumatic as that, but the same logic is when a couple goes through a specific traumatic experience, it sometimes hurt their marriage.
Yeah. So I think that him dying after the first screening is doesn't necessarily feed into he was murdered by the Illuminati because they needed to cut the 20 some odd minutes out.
Yeah.
I've heard explanations from producers and stuff being like, no, we couldn't do that because of the rating.
Yeah.
And he's like, we just couldn't. That was all we had to cut at least that because it was going to get an X rating.
Yeah.
And he's like, we can't release it into mainstream theaters.
And I read a thing too, apparently, that the cut they put out was also not the final cut. Every time Stanley Kubrick would make a movie, he'd make a long version and usually cut 20 to 40 minutes out of it. So I think, like I said before, the logic now, I could see the possibility because we were talking about this at the Creek. Stanley Kubrick was really into secret societies, so he knew a lot about them.
Yeah.
So I could see Eyes Wide Shut as his way of being like, let me kind of slip this in and kind of just
root it into this real life story between a wife and.
Let me put it into people's heads.
I think you're right about the stages of it. Of here's 3 ways that you could be unfaithful or immoral, and each time he was drawn to
small, medium, large.
Yeah, he was drawn to it. He was physically drawn to it, but mentally he could not get in the mind space where he wanted to be with another person because of he was more. Honestly, I relate to that in that sense where I could that physical. It's not that I'm not attracted to other women.
Yeah.
But I cannot justify being with other women because of the mental relationship I've built with my wife.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing of he's
and the vagina. That's the gross part to you.
Yeah. Yes. Oh
yes.
Yeah. Actually, that was another one of my notes.
Love penis
was if I go if this was Andy, he'd be like, actually, can I get a guy? If when they're pairing them up and they start walking.
But you wrote down to call me gay.
Yeah, if it was Andy, actually, please, guy, please.
Girls are
icky.
You wrote down. I wrote down a bird. To call me gay.
Also, I forgot about this part.
You wrote in your notes to call me gay. Fuck, that's so funny.
I was
That's also
that,
too. We're both
as they're
just
walking away, like very silently, if, like you just going like, "Can I get a guy?
There's guys, right?
Can I get a guy?"
That would be so funny. There's one dude at the party like, "There's guys, right?
Yeah, I thought this was for everybody.
I'll take a fat chick if that's all you have."
Yeah, honestly, what about the ass? What about the fucking like? What about the bitches with a limp? You know what I'm saying? What about
I love that. I love that line. Hey, there's guys, right?
Is there guys here?
Like, you really think all we want is heterosexual sex at a party? Like
I also
this?
thought it was hilarious. My other funny thought was when Tom Cruise is getting when they're like, "Can you come back up here and give us that second password?" And he's just like, "McGillicuddy."
Dude, by the way,
And they go, "Get naked," and he's like, "Guys, guys, guys, guys." But like the whole time, the scene, the attention to detail, where it was exclusively piano music. And I just imagine the piano player playing that in the corner with a blindfold on, having to sit on a butt plug going,
even he has to get fucked.
yeah. No, because he's being punished for letting Tom Cruise in. They're like, "We knew it was you."
Oh.
He's like, "Oh, now have a seat." And he's just like, "I don't want to sit." And they're like, "Have a seat." And he's just like, ding.
Every time it gets jammed up his butt, he hits that one note. I also was imagining with like that piano, because like you walk in and the piano music felt natural to the room, like the guy was playing it. Then all the ding, ding felt really weird, and I would imagine people being like, "Shh, why is he
He's talking.
Why is he doing that?
Yeah.
This isn't fun.
It
You're
seems
not adding to the
passive-aggressive.
moment."
It's like it's taking away from the vibe. You're being passive aggressive. Lighten up on the key work, bud.
Dude, it'd be funny.
Where they're going, ding.
It'd be funny too if they get to the party, because I'm still thinking about like, you have guys, right? You know, there's someone. There's someone too gonna be like,
I'm not gonna know anybody.
no, it's just they're gonna be in masks and I won't know anyone.
I'm just not gonna know anybody. Is there like a TV there?
But no, what was I saying?
The guys.
Oh well, no. Also, there's gonna be a dude who's gonna be like, "Is this just adult women?"
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was the other. So that was the costume guy. So that was I think the nod to the secret societies being involved. Of like, yeah, they do that stuff.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking at the sex party, I'm thinking like, who is this harming? If everybody's here willingly,
Yeah.
and obviously if they cut the murder out, then yeah, that's bad. Like the murder's the bad part. But when they're like, it's like, why do you have to be so secretive? It doesn't seem like there's like everybody's just fucking here. Either people like to. This just looks like a fucking swingers club. That's really all it looks like. And like if you Google that, it's fucking pretty cool. There's some cool videos.
I wouldn't want to go to if that's. I think it does lend itself to secret societies. But if that was a swinger party, I would be so that whole thing did actually make me uneasy.
Yeah,
because the masks,
ritual,
the masks and shit were fucking me up.
I get the secret of like of being like secretive and shit like that.
Yeah,
I get that idea, but like when they're talking about also because obviously the dude is involved with the parties.
Mm-hmm.
I think those Asian dudes like are like an arm.
They're probably dealers or traffickers.
I think they're also a part of the elite group essentially, but they're just like, well, they don't do kids here.
Yeah,
like because at first you're thinking like, really, who is this harming if there's nobody? But you're also like seeing the other arms of the machine.
Yeah,
Of being like, no, we also have like we basically just get hookers and we kind of just use them.
Yeah.
Obviously, the one gets AIDS. They said at the end. I don't know if that's true or not, but so I don't know exactly what he was really exposing because like it was.
No, I think he was. Yeah, it's like I said before. I think he was just trying to get the idea in people's heads.
Yeah.
Because it's like you can't if you go too. It's actually similar to the alien tech thing we talk about, where we think they're like slow rolling it.
Yeah.
Because if you go too crazy, you're gonna scramble people's brains. You got to slow roll the technology, and it's the same thing with that. It's like you can't like, especially when was that movie in late '80s, early '90s? Bro, if you hit people with secret society shit 100%, you'll get discredited as a...
Wait, the Eyes Wide Shut?
Yeah.
99.
Oh, okay, 99. But it's like if you put 100% the secret society shit in your movie, or the secret society shit, if it's 100% how it is in your movie, people aren't going to fucking believe it. Even if you're 100% right. They're not going to believe it, and then you're going to hurt your name as a director.
And honestly, that's why I would argue that the thing about him being like, I always do this much, and I always cut about 25 minutes or something. And he did that. He was
Yeah.
just like, I don't need all that. I'm driving it home enough with the mask and like the subtle murders. I don't need to have somebody going like, Jam!
I just thought about
like,
this
ripping
too.
them open and like.
I just thought about this too. They act like, oh, they got to the first screening, and the department heads, the studio heads were like, wait, he's doing what in the movie? And it's like, Kubrick's whole thing was he did a take fucking 90 times. He did a scene 90 times.
Yeah.
So you gotta assume they were doing the party shit for months.
They have dailies.
They have daily. Word about those parties never got back to the studio.
Yeah.
It's like, the movie would have been shut down in production.
Right. So like, but the party scene itself, like a lot of the scenes were still very minimal. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like, as far as the whole movie, it was a lot of Tom Cruise just kind of like emoting.
It was pretty standard. It was like ritual, walk around, watch some guys watch a lady get fucked on top of a guy.
Yeah.
Use a guy as a table to fuck a lady.
And then Nicole Kidman going,
Yeah.
I like that.
I gotta be honest too. The one thing that got me when they were like walking him out, can you imagine going to like a secret society Illuminati party and you're like, you know what I want to do? I want to dance naked I want to slow dance naked with a hooker.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know what I need? A little bit of incense blown in my face.
Yeah.
And then I want to get up and blow a guy in another
It's so
room.
funny. I would just be like, hey, you know Bang Bros, right?
Yeah.
Can you do the stuff they do?
Yeah.
Just do the stuff my wife wouldn't do, please.
Let's bang bus.
I'll say I love you. You don't want me to say that? I'm going to say that.
Yeah. I'm gonna say it. Yeah. I kind of would like to. There would have been. I think also the fact that there's no reveal of like who's behind what mask and everything.
Yeah.
Makes it cooler, cryptid, or
Makes it creepier. Well, and that reminded me of one last thing I was thinking about. It made me less afraid of these I don't know if this is technically the deep state, but like these spooky people in the shadows.
Yeah.
Well, or from a functionality standpoint, like obviously, like where you got to worry about them is like when you're alone in your house or when you're driving and everyone's like, I'm reading this book about how fucking weird Laurel Canyon was in like the 60s and shit. And it's like, dude, if you could play a drinking game every time someone's car mysteriously like broke down or they had like a random heart attack and shit like that. So, which, sorry, I stopped because I'm like, well, that's what happened to Stanley Kubrick. That got me off my,
But yeah.
Oh, that's what I was saying. Oh, this is the thought I was trying to figure out is, I would be more worried about like, they're going to cut the brakes in my car or they're going to do this. And it's like, dude, in that moment, like when they were like, get naked, I actually, sometimes you watch a movie, you put yourself in that moment. And I think the implied thing is, it's like, it's so scary because you kind of have to get naked. And you're like, I gotta be honest. It's like, in that moment, I'd be like, all right, I all know you're billionaires in weird masks. Like, you're not making me get naked. I would literally run up to people because I
took my mask off.
You're not actually a wizard. Like, I would go up to people and start taking masks off and go like, you're all fucking weirdos. Like, I get it. You're gonna kill me later.
Any of them can fight?
Yeah.
Do you think any of them can fight?
Exactly. I was like, dude, I get it. You're going to hire a big guy to kill me later. But in that moment,
I'm taking a couple of you motherfuckers with me.
Dude, it's literally the scene. It's literally the scene from fucking Half Baked where I go, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I go to the piano guy. You're cool.
Shut up.
But yeah, I was like, dude.
He goes, Tom?
But in this current day and age, it's like, dude, we need more Alex Jones at Bohemian Grove. It's like, dude, go to the party and cause the disturbance. I hope you don't die later, but like, that's what some of us got to risk that. I'm not gonna.
And that's what I was thinking when I was watching. I was like, at the end of it, her crying and everything was, damn, that's super traumatic. Also, like, oh, I would like if maybe the 25 minutes is that talk. And them going like, so it's crazy that you were dreaming about that too.
Yeah.
Like that's never brought. That's the only thing that really bothers me is the fact of that. But everybody walking around, like kind of just staring at him and stuff. It was a very methodical, very slow-paced movie, but tons of tits. And also, I think the conspiracy, in my opinion, holds very little weight, and there's a lot of jumping to conclusions. I think honestly, if I may, if the deep state actually did kill Stanley Kubrick, he had a good run. I mean, really, there's not.
He put up numbers.
There's very little tragedy here, and also it's still a pretty sexy movie. It's a pretty horny ass fucking movie. I think Nate would like it if he hasn't seen it.
It's a movie you could jerk to.
Nate would fucking jerk to that movie.
Yeah,
for sure.
Should call him.
Yeah.
Like, Nate, I got something for your dick.
We're not Eskimo brothers, but we're kindred jerkers. I feel like
we just call Nate up. Nate, we were thinking about your penis.
We were thinking about. Well, you know, he was our first and only guest. We're never gonna have one again. So obviously, unless we can have the deep state. And I just want to, if I can, take this opportunity to invite the Illuminati on the show. Anytime you want.
Make an argument.
No. We just want to. We don't. It's not even like you don't have to tell us too much. Just tell us what we shouldn't be asking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Just present a girl. Tell me she's 18, and we'll have fun.
No AIDS. No AIDS. If there's AIDS at those parties, that's the most diabolical thing.
Yeah. My last thing I wanted to say before.
What if this was?
What?
If they're filming that during COVID and everybody takes their mask off and everybody's got a mask on under their mask.
That's so funny.
And they're just like,
they make you wear a COVID mask at the Illuminati party.
Take off your clothes.
So funny.
And their glasses are fogging up.
It's so funny. You have to wear a COVID mask at the Illuminati party.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. The last thing I wanted to say is just, and this is more of a movie analysis, is I always laugh. You always talk to people, and I think two married men who are pretty happy with their wives and shit like that, happy with their marriage and shit. I always laugh. People seem to really overcomplicate relationships, and it's like watching something like, so having the end of Eyes Wide Shut being like, so yeah, conclusion, relationships are kind of difficult, and you're like, I mean, yeah, maybe if you want to get railed by 7 guys while you cuck your husband, or you want to go fuck a hooker on top of another guy in a mask. Yeah. But it's like, to me, the broad strokes of it is really just like, yeah, you can't. Here's the thing: you can't double dip. You either hunker down with someone, and the price of that is you two make it work between yourselves.
Buy your wife some dildos,
and you don't get to fuck around.
Right?
No, because perfectly honest, it's like. Our wives would be mad if we fucked around. We'd be mad if they fucked around. And it's like, but that's the thing. You get something emotional from a marriage that you don't get if you don't be loyal in a marriage. So it's like, if you're not ready for that, that's fine. Go fuck around.
The emotional pleasure is better than the pleasures of the flesh.
Go blasting fucking people for a while. Try not to get them pregnant. And then, but the thing about relationship is like, you have to, honestly, not to take a, what?
I'd wear a Bane mask. Gotham will not be sleeping until I have sex with 4 hookers.
You know, it'd be funny if you showed up to one of the parties and you have like a George Bush mask on, and you're like, I thought it was any mask, and then the voice at the corner goes, hey, why is he dressed like me?
Oh, dang it. Oh, shit. Fuck.
I got a Clinton mask on. They're like, hey, nice one, dude.
Yeah, like that mask, you know what I mean? That's not good.
Oh, Clinton. Back again, Mr. Clinton.
But yeah, it's like the whole relationship to me is not complicated. It goes like, well, what do you want? Do you want strong, like, it's like, do you want strong emotional fulfillment? Well, you can't have weird random sex anymore. So it's like, do that a little bit and then go find someone to love.
But dude, that's the thing, is like, in this story, is like, be appreciative of what you have. You have a fucking wife that with these perky ass titties,
perfect titties,
that is just aching for cock. She just wants as much cock as she can get, and she's like, just fill me up.
Give her some cock.
Either give her the cock or fucking let her go get cock.
Or I'll do it for you, Tommy.
Brother, I was not attracted to Nicole Kidman until this movie, and now I was like, holy smokes.
I will say this too. I can't remember perfectly, but I do think Nicole Kidman has a steady repertoire of showing you her titties, because I swear, I want to say it's the one
had my eyes wide open.